Hello, I'm Amir.
So I reached out to another friend of mine. I said, look, I need to go on vacation somewhere. Where should I go? He said, go to Africa. And not only am I going to go, I'm going to explore a new country. So I went to Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Mali, Senegal, Morocco, Liberia, Namibia, Kenya, the Voodoo Festival in Ouida, Gambia, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. It's been a beautiful experience, just learning more about our culture, our indigenous culture. So Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. I'm in search of my roots. In finding that, I would experience my Uhuru, which is freedom.
Till next time, Amir, I'm out. Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Listen, we're not going to do any announcements. We're just going to jump right into it because I know we got a couple hours. So we want to give Brother Terry all of his time. But today's topic is how to create a truly African crypto / NFT project. Guys, I'm launching my first NFT project, which is kind of already launched because there's an airdrop for all of my previous guests who have came on tours with me to Africa via Donfo. Well, not even before we were Donfo, but pretty much if you came on a tour, if you attended a tour with me, you're eligible for an airdrop. So I've already started. Well, I'm gonna start the airdrops tomorrow, but the NFT is done, and I'll release the NFT to everyone so everyone can see it probably tomorrow. So that's my first NFT project. I have many more NFT projects to come, many more to go. So we have Terry, our resident crypto expert. He is on with us today, and we're just going to jump right into it. Go ahead and Terry, introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, my name is Terry. I'm glad to be here. And my username across the internet is Surpassing Google. And that's my mission, the world at just the mission of surpassing Google. And that's also the reason I'm in Web3, in the Web3 space, because it's impossible to surpass Google using Google infrastructure. So I'm in Web3 because of the limitlessness that it affords with respect to the tools available and, of course, the infrastructure available. Okay, let me just, as part of the introduction, I'll just summarize what surpassing Google means, and then we will start the motion. So it's written at the back of my notebook. This is the first notebook in existence. So basically, it's not a book, it's a notebook to complement the books. So it documents the untolds, the things not documented in the books. Coincidentally, the first notebook in existence covers the subject of crypto, and it's titled Cryptocurrency and Money's Uselessness, Legit.
Hey, Terry, you froze up on us. You froze up on us, Terry. Terry, you froze up on us.
Me to explain it. Hello?
Okay, you're back now. You have froze up on us, but you're back now.
Okay, let me let me just quickly end some things on my PC. Just a moment. Wow. Mm. Okay, so the meaning of surpassing Google is there is a growing rarity in the great men industry. We fix this rarity, we surpass Google, removing all barriers to entry from everything good, that everything good may become available to anyone, abating hand-to-mouthism and half-humanism. So this is like a paradigm. It's at the basis of all the projects that I intend to build. They all have a surpassing Google paradigm. And yeah, so that's the introduction aspect of things. So the topic at hand, this is going to be impromptu because I expected the topic to be why every African should learn Web3 in 2023.
Hey, listen, we can, I mean, we can still do that on another day. All right, if
Okay.
Terry, it's up to you. You going in whatever direction you want to go in. It's up to you.
No, we will take this direction. It's just that this particular topic is, is a deep topic. But I'll just go with this one. And next time we'll do why every African should learn Web3 in 2023. Okay, so I'm just going to, how will I do this now? Okay, Dynast. I want to try something. Just a moment, please. Dynast. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Okay, please permit me. I want to try to shift to another.
Go
I
ahead.
want to close this,
The floor is
and
yours.
I'll come back on another browser
Okay, that's
because so many tabs are open here.
fine. Okay.
Okay, just 1 minute.
All right, guys. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Let's wait for Terry to come back. But do me a favor, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Also, tours. So I'll give the announcements while we wait for while we wait for Terry. Sierra Leone, April. Sierra Leone, April. We are rolling to Sierra Leone in April. If you're interested in joining us, hit me up. Go to donfo.africa, and here's Terry. Terry's back. Go ahead, Terry.
Okay, apologies for the break.
No
Okay, so let's start. I just did a quick draft of some topics before this, although it was the premise for this was around the topic of why every African should learn about Web3 in 2023, but it's still relevant to the topic of today, how to build a truly African project. So, even though crypto is a space for everyone, so it's decentralized in nature, peer-to-peer in nature, public in nature, and provides you everything that you need, to build limitless projects. You can count how many African projects there are across the crypto sphere, let alone
it's not a lot.
yes, and let alone how many truly African projects. So I can hardly pick one truly African project around the Web3 landscape.
I think
And
here there's what are your thoughts? Are you familiar with Keek?
yes, in the past I knew about Kik long ago.
So it started by a Ghanaian lady.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know,
And then
but
there's Zen Finance.
that's
Ni-
also African.
yeah, Nigerians. They started by a couple of Nigerian brothers. Zen Finance. They were endorsed by Binance.
Mm. Yes, but even though the originators of some of these projects are Africans, it doesn't mean that the project is truly African.
Okay.
Yes, because I'll start with a very simple scenario. I did a recent live stream. So I'm offering a free consultation. If anyone wants to, you can simply contact me on the subject of Web3. So in a recent one I did, I was doing it with a someone from Ghana. Okay, so I wanted to tell him of how he has not fully exhausted the tools that he regularly uses uh, daily, the crypto tools that he regularly uses. And underlyingly, I was trying to pinpoint how he hasn't been truly African in his use of those tools.
Okay.
So I started out with a tool called CoinMarketCap.
Mhm.
Okay, I'd like to share screen now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm already sharing my screen. Okay, so a particular tool that most people who use Web3, make use of Web3 use is Coin Market Cap. And basically, on the surface, this tool ranks many cryptocurrencies according to their prices, but it's also a bunch of other things. So typically, users, they stick on the home page, like they generally would with Google and the first page of Google, and they don't advance past it with a conscious effort to exhaust their resources. So many times we complain about what we don't have when the answer lies in exhausting our resources. The first resource, of course, being you or me in this case. So one way to fully exhaust my resource, in this example, CoinMarketCap, is to consciously use this tool to evolve my human. So I call it mining the human. So let me just type here. Okay, so what I'm referring to is mining the human. Okay, so this is like like you would mine precious stone or dig something continuously. So this is mining the human. And as we will proceed, you will see that this is a very strong paradigm in when you want to build a truly African project. We will talk about that later on, but we are using this as a case study. So, like I said, one of the most prominent resource that we have for a start is the
I
African.
was going to say Bitcoin is back above 21,000. Or go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, 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 it is.
Mhm.
And that's a topic for another day. But I believe whenever the series of bull runs that will come about now will be more sustainable than ever because crypto is shifting towards a Web3 narrative
Right.
and leaving the money centric narrative that it once had. Okay, so like I mentioned, one of the most powerful resources that we have, that we don't regard in our in our interactions and transactions, because we are about to undertake transactions and interactions when we use this tool, Coin Market Cap. But one of the most prominent resource that we have, which we don't exert or exercise in our use of these tools, is we. So we're not conscious of mining our human in the course of using this tool.
Mhm.
Because according to us, this is just a tool. But unlike regular tools, this is a crypto or a Web3 based tool, which underlinedly is not like any other tool, because generally a crypto based tool is peer to peer in nature, is public in nature, and on that basis affords us limitless possibilities. However, these tools will stay generic and fade like technologies before it, depending on our use of these tools. If we make use of these tools conventionally, we will only discover conventional use cases for these tools. They will now turn out to be similar over the course of time to a Web 2 tool. However, if we're truly African in our use of these limitless tools, we will discover limitlessness out of this tool. So let me give you a scenario. So I was talking to that person. This just happened impromptu, and I brought up CoinMarketCap as an example. And I started out by telling him that, okay, typically you spend your time on the first page or maybe on the second page, but there are a lot of other resources that you don't venture into. So I started out by a simple scenario. I told him that what if I typed in the word, this phrase into the search engine? So now let's assume this is the search engine, and here it says search coin, pair, contract address, or exchange. But now instead of what is conventional, I decided to type something like this. So I asked the insight of the person that I was discussing with, that what if, I was using CoinMarketCap and I typed in this search query into the CoinMarketCap search box, and he told me that that's bizarre, he'll look at me funnily, and that is going to be the reaction of the large populace of the world. But according to me, shouldn't be the reaction of a true African, because a true African is a powerful being in a state of evolution, understands improvisation, understands grit, understands unconventionality, except you have become trapped by the system of things. There is a certain out of the boxness to a true African. There is a certain stubborn element to a true African. Now, and of course, there are limitations everywhere posed against a true African, that improvisation is bound to come about, spirituality in your search for information. As a true African, you shouldn't be generic in your use of basic tools. We will also discuss that when I'm talking about how to build a truly African project down the road. But for example, I want money. And like this, not being a true African tool, referring to CoinMarketCap, it has no provision for such an unconventional search query. Now, this search query may appear dumb, but to me, it is not dumb. For example, to the rest of the world, the large populace of the world, this is considered dumb. And it's not far-fetched that CoinMarketCap has no provision for unconventional search queries such as I want money. But if you look at this critically, this may be a valid search query because CoinMarketCap serves people information about money, or there's a certain money element to CoinMarketCap. Now, in my mind, a truly African project will have provision for something like this. It's obvious at this stage that CoinMarketCap has not taken cognizance of the entire globe, in the formulation of this project, which was bought at 100 million. Underlinedly, they may have created the project with the intention of attracting billions of users without a representation of a conscious representation of the African populace. This is understandable. The reason is they don't know Africans, let alone consider them as a viable demography to to pay attention to. On this basis, it is not far-fetched that there is no project today that has been able to cater to billions of people. Even the likes of Facebook, model-wise, they've not been able to cater to billions of people. As such, they have blacklists, they have shadow banning, and stuff like that, model-wise. And to damage control that, they have been buying the demography. So let's say Instagram has 1 billion people, they'll buy Instagram. WhatsApp has 1 billion people, they'll buy WhatsApp. So at a model level, at the very conceptualization of it, there is no conscious effort to represent the entire populace while building the model. Now, this is not an off case. This is going to be the case with many projects, even those that have African originators, because again, not much is known about Africa. At this stage, let me say that one of the most valuable utility of Web3, blockchain, and crypto is the unveiling of the African people. Remember that it is a bare blockchain. However, and it is public in nature. However, unlike the Web2 infrastructure, Web3 hosts the peer-to-peer human. And a peer-to-peer human is not the regular human. They're in a state of evolution. They're in a state of spirituality because they are peer-to-peer. They're not wary of third-party interference. They don't need third-party authorization to transact or interact. As such, their true innermost self, whether they're Africans, come out. And this is recorded on a bare blockchain. So one utility for blockchain is finding out the truest state of the world. And this truest state of the world involves Africans. So if you are to divide the truest states of the world, you will have two to make up the piece: the outer space and the down to earth. The down to earth is African born. The outer space, let's assume that it's of the West. Now that hybrid is the true state of the world. However, what is represented today by virtue of innovation, by virtue of knowledge, is only the outer space. That's why I decided to document the no books to complement the books, because I believe humans can better evolve on a basis of a hybrid of knowledge made up of the books and the no books. So while the books have been written, there needs to be a documentation of the no books, or the things not recorded in the books. Okay, so back to this scenario. I want money. The response from CoinMarketCap is no results for I want money. We couldn't find anything matching your search. Try again with a different query. Now, if we conclude that to an African, this is a valid search query, even though CoinMarketCap is for ranking cryptocurrencies, then we can also conclude that to create a variant of CoinMarketCap that represents the entire globe and factors in the African, there should be some sort of search result for this search query. For example, maybe the address to the nearest ATM. I don't think that's far-fetched on an African-centric search engine. That's why I'm building surpassinggoogle.com, where such search result is feasible. Such search result is feasible. Now, if you look here, it says no results for I want money. The next inclination for a typical user is to back out, maybe try another search query or just back out. But a true African may think at this stage, okay, maybe I should build a project similar to CoinMarketCap, but with results for this, because this is an avenue to curate humans, to elevate humans, according to me. Just this. Assuming I cater to this result, and at the very least, I send you to the nearest ATM, or I tell you, okay, why don't you contribute? So I put, let's say, a contribute button here. where you can contribute suggestions instead of the option of just backing out, then perhaps I'm building a truly African coin market cap. But there is more. A true African may venture into this. Want more content? Try our search bar in community. And by clicking on this, you are now led to a social media angle of CoinMarketCap, which many people don't know of, which may constitute the breakthrough that you're seeking. Perhaps you have been on Twitter for ages and you have been shadow banned. You don't have relevance or popularity on Twitter. Perhaps this is an outlet where you can garner reach. Assuming reach is what you're looking for. And now, if you look here, you will see one of the things I showed that is lacking for the Africans, or what they need, is reach. So I don't know if you can see here. So I listed out some of the things missing, and one of it is reach. Now, why does an African struggle with reach? Because the whole world bars that possibility. And then when you reach out to the internet for a level playing field, attempting to gain reach on an inanimate internet, the internet itself tells you to scram off because you are from Nigeria, for example. Or you send a harmless message to someone on Facebook containing your ambition, and you are blocked. Your account is suspended because your IP is from Nigeria. Or you are shadow banned. This is what is obtainable out of the internet, and is evidence that the internet was built without Africans in mind. As such, there is a blacklist, so the things that are are predicted to be scam or spam are blacklisted. No, it is not out of place that those African projects that you mentioned have blacklists. Now, who are the blacks on that list? So you will see many African projects they have African originators, but the ideals of the project are West-centric, Western-centric, because once again, there's no real study or ponder. Not much attention has been paid to the unpopular African. That's according to world standards in the modeling out of these projects. And these are the things I've done. I spent years doing this in my bid to surpass Google, and I'll talk about that later on. So we were brought here, and here we're suddenly told that there is a social media aspect to CoinMarketCap. So not only is it a ranking platform for cryptocurrencies, but it also has a social media angle. And speaking to most people, this is one salient element that I will incorporate to any project if it's going to be truly African born, irrespective of the industry. I will always factor in a social media element, because according to me, this is where power lies. So take note of that. Another thing that I'll incorporate in a truly African project, by default, is a social media element. But this is something that CoinMarketCap has done. So this feature was not there before at the early stages. It was only this feature, this CoinMarketCap, and some other features, but the social media aspect wasn't there, wasn't present. Now, however, they've added it. Now, note that even on the basis of just when they bought CoinMarketCap, I think CoinMarketCap was bought for $100 million. They have continued to iterate this. They've added additional features like the social media features, a lot of other tabs here. That's another core element of a truly African project that we should factor in at this stage, like an evolutionary element. Okay, so most projects don't have this, and especially African projects. So Africans in general, they usually adopt the things of the West. Suddenly technology becomes God again. And that is apparent in the blockchain space. Suddenly, we are provided with limitless tools by virtue of blockchain and cryptocurrency. And in general, like I mentioned earlier, one thing I want to abate is half humanism and hand to mouthism. The typical African, now I'm not talking of the true African, is always seeking a solution bringer, a generation fixer, when innately these are properties of Africans. They end up looking to the West for a generation fixer and a uh, solution bringer, to where the West becomes God, as well as their whatever creation they make. So let's assume, which is not conclusive, that the West started out this blockchain infrastructure. Suddenly blockchain becomes God in the presence of Africans all over again, and they embrace it, adopt it to even more extremities than the creators of these tools. So typically someone sees a smart contract and then defactors all human elements, creates a project that's smart contract centric, and then leave everything to the smart contract, removing the evolutionary and thus revolutionary potential of that project, because now there is a smart contract or code that can run matters. Wow, just a moment, please. Let me see if we're still live.
Now we're still live. We're still
Oh,
live.
we're still live. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I just know so people could see. In the
Okay,
chat,
okay,
I
okay.
made the screen. I blew the chat up.
Okay, okay. Okay, okay, so
And
let's go
I
ahead.
blew the screen up, made it larger and larger screen so people could see in the chat because they're saying it was too small. So we're live.
Okay, okay. Okay, so okay, so smart contract, yes. So with crypto, starting with Ethereum, the smart contract became a possibility. So basically, a code base that you can define that runs without human interference, deployed on a blockchain, the blockchain being tamperless. So you'll see many projects come to life and everything is suddenly left to a smart contract. So because they can set it up once and for all, then if it's, let's say, they incorporated a reward distribution element where participants of the application that they've built get rewards, the smart contract will distribute the rewards based on a predefined entry. That turns out to become more of a Western project than a truly African project. A truly African project, according to me, should have grind, grit, should have a mining the human element, should have histories and stories, legacies. So I will not remove the human element. That's our strong point as Africans. We may not be able to compete on the basis, no, solely on the basis of these tools on the internet. Where our strength is in the power of our humans. Irrespective of the limitless tools crypto brings, we should never rob the world of the African human. According to me, the only knowledge lacking from the world today is Africa. The knowledge from the down to earth spaces in Africa. That is the only knowledge missing. That is why the world is in a state of limbo, because generally African knowledge from Africa, you cannot document. You can document the Western information using the books, using media, perhaps to 90% correctness, but the African type of scenario and society, you cannot document out of a book. Perhaps you can document it in a notebook. As such, in effect, my attempt to do so. So, one thing that I'll not miss out on in building a project that is truly African is the human element. So let's say I had a social media platform such as Facebook, or let's feature one that I usually feature, like Hive. Even though it can run on itself, on its own, based on a smart contract. So let's say this social media platform is modeled to where people post content and then others upvote. And when they upvote, the content creator earns a reward. Now, this can run forever on the basis of a smart contract. But if I had such a project, there will always be a human element. It will not be too vote centric. Maybe in the upvote, in the course of upvoting, I may attempt to curate or elevate your human. So let's say instead of a simple upvote, for example, now I'm not saying that this is the specific model that you should use, but I'm just giving an example. So let's say now, I said something in the past that typical Western innovations are based on a Boolean or binary possibilities. And for good measure, one basic measure for doing that is to cage the human into a rat race, to make them bot like, to be able to analyze them. However, two actions cannot capture the full essence of a human. For example, I may be voting on this, and the generic conclusion to the West is that I'm voting of it because I favor the content of this user. But in the African scenario, that may not be the case. I may vote on this because my spirit told me to. Now, this is not factored into any innovation today. I may vote on this maybe because I want to give the user a timely inspiration, not necessarily because I'm supporting the content, but on that note, I may vote on this, okay, because I want to distribute rewards. I may vote on this. I don't intend to distribute rewards, but I want to give the content visibility. There are tons of possible reasons why I'll vote on this to capture that essence, the essence of a true African, which carries revelation that the world needs. Else they'll remain in a limbo. I will try to curate every participant here. Either bring out their innermost self or attempt to mind them or incite them to mind their human for the sake of revelation. So maybe instead of just a simple vote where you simply select a percentage, what if I put a box to bring out more information? Or there's a lot of play that you can carry out here. But Western innovations and African innovations that exist in Web3, the likelihood is that they keep it Boolean based, vote and unvote. And it is not a coincidence that not only is this used on the social media angle of Hive, it is also used in the governance. So there's an entire governance portal where ranking validators are ranked based on a vote. So there are only two possible options here. Even though it's one button shown, there are two possible options. It's either you vote or you that the moment you vote, the only other possible reaction is to remove your vote, which is basically a down vote. So two possible options, and then you are caged within that. And then it's predicted and concluded that you are supporting this user and his ideals by virtue of your vote. And they create analysis surrounding that, and entire governance and politics is based on a Boolean. Now, a true African will break away from this jurisdiction, which I did. I used to earn $200 per post on this platform in the past. I had to leave all of that, when there was some politics and a split of the chain, and people wanted me to take sides, generally people of the West. And because I decided to break away and did not show side, so I did participate in governance, but not on the basis of the reasons that they think are the only possibilities, which is supporting the ideals. So I may have voted on a certain witness for reasons other than supporting their ideals, but the generic conclusion is that I supported their ideals. To break free, I supported both platforms. So the replica platform of this in the event of the fork was Steemit, and then I lost support on both. Because once again, blockchain becomes God to many people, and they follow the blockchain. They don't mind trampling on human to follow another inanimate thing, which brings us to another important thing when you are building a truly African project, and I call it returning value to human. And in this case, let's say particularly the Africans, because the world has been modeled to continuously remove value from human, especially the Africans. And we'll discuss that later on. So I supported this, and before I used to earn on both platforms, but now I lost the potential of earning on either because I didn't play. I didn't want to be curbed in the binary possibility. I wanted to be a true African or my human in the higher or a full blown human in my interactions and transactions. So I broke free and I did lose the potential to earn on both. So you'll see here, I don't earn anything, I earn cents. And here, I still managed to earn from a few people that, stuck with, decided to support me, but not in the realm of what I used to earn before. Now, another thing comes about here, which is another salient paradigm. If you are building a truly African project, in the same vein as you are returning value to human, you also need to attempt to use lessify money. So what this means is relegating the position of money in society to that of the smaller things while elevating the human instead. That is one core thing missing in almost every innovation that you may find today. It's always modeled, underlinely modeled to remove value from humans and distribute it amongst inanimate things such as money, such as career, such as knowledge, such as blockchain technology, to where humans are ready to trample on fellow humans to climb a career ladder, for example, or to acquire knowledge, or to acquire money, or to follow the blockchain, like is the case in this scenario. So, blockchain come with their own ideals. And you will notice that that was what was deterring the growth for blockchain in the past. Before interoperability became a thing, it was about competition. So Ethereum felt that they are the best blockchain, and Ethereum suddenly has fanatics of an inanimate blockchain and technology who would never venture into like a Binance Smart Chain or another chain because they are following the blockchain. So that is what becomes prevalent, suddenly prevalent on a landscape that it's not supposed to be the case, blockchain, because now you are peer to peer. You're supposed to have your own unique interaction and reaction with a blockchain. But what happens is the popular shared identity replicates itself on blockchain. And that's where Africans come in. Without Africans building truly African born innovation, blockchain uh, is going to become generic and fade like technologies before it. And I'll go back to this example. Now, if you okay, let's use Facebook as an example, and we will compare it to Hive, which is also a social media platform. So Facebook is a Web2 tool. The generic way or conventional way of using Facebook for perhaps 90% of Facebook users is scroll, 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 like. Scroll, 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 like. For the most part, it's entertainment centric. And let's just assume that that is it for the most people using Facebook. Now, if you came on the Hive blockchain, which is similar to Facebook, considering that it's a social media platform, however, it's built on a blockchain. So this is a Web3 social media platform. And you make use of Hive in exactly the same manner as you use Facebook, you will only discover Facebook out of Hive. There will be no disparity in capacity when you compare Facebook to Hive. over the course of time, Hive will become basic, similar to Facebook, when in reality it is not. But it is for humans who make use of the blockchain to elevate these tools to those limitless levels. So if you decide to use Hive in new ways, break away from this jurisdiction of a binary, you will end up building an iteration of Hive that is evolutionary, tending towards limitlessness, which you can do freely because on blockchain, you can build anything without third party permission or authorization, something that you cannot do based on Web2 infrastructure because you cannot surpass Facebook, for example. Much of the data you need to build your project, you may need Facebook's permission to get it because they have billions of users. And to start afresh, you may not have the budget to compete with the likes of Facebook. But in blockchain, all the content here is stored on the Hive Explorer, for example. It's stored on a blockchain. You don't need permission to access that data. As such, if you want to build a limitless iteration of Hive or a truly African project, you don't need third-party authorization. You cannot be stopped, even though you become deemed a threat to your counterparts. So, for example, I'm surpassing Google. I may be deemed a threat in all eventuality to the likes of Google. They may attempt to stop me, but they will struggle to because I'm on a Web3 infrastructure. We will get to that later on. And yes, we'll get to that later on. So, another thing, so at this stage, let me just say some of the things that Africans, yes, use lessify money. This should be at the core of an African born innovation. And I've shown evidence, for example, in my case, in the route to surpassing Google, one thing I had to conquer was money, the influence of money. I met crypto when I had no dime. And my first earning on crypto was up to $500,000 on these platforms that I mentioned, Hive, and without paying anything. I had like 19,000 publications on this platform. And yes, I did earn, but I didn't spend my earnings. The price ended up plummeting. I didn't take advantage of it. And today I don't have a dime either, but I have conquered money, its influence. And on that basis, it enables you to see more things. Now, to a general African, the aspiration is money for good measure, for good reason. But for those who want to take the role of surpassing Google, of becoming generation fixer solution bringers, those few who want to build projects, one thing that they would need to model into the mechanics of their project is relegating the position of money in society. So I'll give my own projects as an example of how I've attempted to do that. If you look at my notebook, I featured it earlier, you will see that it's cheaper than free. So because crypto is limitless, you can build in a limitless fashion. My thought process when it comes to building projects is limitless. So I thought, what if we take money to the end state of relegation and create a cheaper than free economy? Now, that is not fathomable, but it's possible in crypto. A cheaper than free economy. Now, to show you evidence that that's possible, it's something we can show you evidence of this. So at this stage, let me say that anything that you think is impossible in terms of innovation by virtue of Web 2 is possible in crypto. Anything. You can pick any industry, any industry at all that, let's say you are trying to build a project in and you face like some roadblocks. If you build that same project in crypto, you'll be able to surmount any roadblock. So that will be for the next conversation, why everyone should learn about crypto. So let's look at the cheaper than free economy. Now, this is not entirely cheaper than free, but you can iterate, you can, remodel this to where you can pull off cheaper than free. Now, all these people here who are voted on my post, they are not actually tipping me. So they have not transferred. For example, this user handshot first has not actually transferred $2.62 to me. Neither has pet the next user. All these users, they simply voted. It is true that I will end up earning something from this article, but it's not based on a tipping model. There has been no transfer of funds from one user to the other in the course of doing this. So it can be said that Handshots First did not lose $2.62 from his wallet, because this is uh, it's almost a free economy, when you look at it. So what happens here is that a pool is created per day, and that pool is filled up with newly minted Hive. So the native cryptocurrency of this Hive platform is Hive, and that pool is filled with newly minted Hive. Then there is something like a DAO, or that is like decentralized governance, where stakeholders of Hive can decide to which authors that pool is distributed proportional to the size of their stake. So they are not actually transferring money from their pocket, they are transferring money from a public pool where any holder of Hive who has staked can have a say. So that also tells us that in but there are a lot of iterations to do to this. For example, it's obvious that the governance here is money centric. As such, there's another angle to this innovation, which is targeted at protecting the reward pool from humans, on the notion that humans will pillage the reward pool. So there's also a predictive element to Western innovations, that humans will react a certain way based on their programming and their analytics of humans over time, without knowing that there may be a true African that breaks that jurisdiction. So most innovations that have a reward distribution element, the money is at the core of the innovation. Not only is it money centric, where the reward distribution is money centered, but there is also a model in the innovation that predicts that humans will pillage the reward pool, especially humans from certain IP locations like Africa, and then measures are put in place, such as blacklists, to deter those humans. Now, a true African project, according to me, let's say I was building a project, will not take that route. I'll take a different route, one that relegates money and elevates humans. There are a variety of ways to play that.
Hey, Terry, somebody in the chat room had asked a question. I think is a good question. So you had these two coins. You had Otodua coin, you had Mansa coin, and you had the coin. I think Otodua coin was the coin that was supposed to back this project. Then you have A coin, which is Akon's coin for his Akon City.
Yes.
Like these coins that are coming out as far as on the continent for these grandiose projects. Like, what are your thoughts on them? So like A coin, was supposed to be the coin for the Akon City, but the city is nowhere near being even completed. And I think I don't know about Mansa coin, but I know one of those coins, either Mansa or Otodua coin, was supposed to be for a project like a Wakanda City. That I think it was for backing Wakanda City, back so that they're supposed to be building in Ghana, but I don't think they even broke ground yet. So, what are your thoughts on those?
Okay. Yes, I don't know all of them. I know A coin. I've seen Oduduwa coin, briefly. I don't know Mansa coin, but I'm not bashy of any project. My mindset is even of humans. I'm not too, even when it comes to morality and all that, it's beyond the two possibility, good or bad for me. There's so I always use evolutionary eyes to look at any project. However, their state, I believe that they have room for evolution. So a project like Acoin, you know, Oduduwa coin, if let's say they give me room for a discussion and of course other people, I'll definitely see ways that they can make it truly African, contribute insight on that. So Acoin, I've covered Acoin before in its early stages. I see value there, the intention, what it wants to represent, but uh, in crypto, it's decentralized, so you cannot curb who participates. So, like me, in building my projects, I for years now I have history of what I'm building, and it's possible to go into a partnership, for example, and I'll quickly solve my money issues, for example, make money, but the project will lose its African nature. I will not be fully able to define it, and then it can shift away entirely from that mission without if you don't put money at the background and go into partnership early. So, substance needs to be there. You don't have to be reactionary when you're building this stuff in the face of money. So, for something like Acoin, the I may not have put out the coin early on, because once you put out the coin, in crypto, partnership doesn't need paperwork. And that's one beauty of crypto. That's one reason for its limitlessness. Anyone can participate and have a say on the formulation of evolution of the project by simply getting the coin. So let's say they have a DAO system where people vote on how the project should evolve. Suddenly, people from the West can ransack the entire coin holdings and then stake and be the dominant players in governance. So now if they say that they want a coin to be shaped a certain way, you no longer have a say, because now you've everything is DAO. I mean, anyone can participate in governance, can buy the coin, and then dominate governance. Except you initiate like a kind of split. Let's say you had a blockchain, then you go to another blockchain, and that's what is at the basis of many splits, when a blockchain splits. So Acoin, it has a big mission. It has a big. I can't remember all the details, but I knew in the past they were supposed to build a city, then a payment system, with the card that allows payments. That's a very big project. That's something that should be supported, and but again, you have to be truly African in building this project. You'll have setbacks. The adoption will be a struggle, and funding wise, most Africans don't support African born projects. They prefer the Western one. So you will struggle there. So these are things that you have to factor from the very outset. So, like I said, one of the problems Africans will encounter is reach. So, are you building a project that is bound to have reach? It's contagious enough to where it's bound to have reach. So, for example, my project, it took me years to get to the final destination. To tackle the subject of reach, I had to go content. That's why I said there will always be a social media angle. And that's something I would have added if I was to work on Acoin, a social media angle. So why do I say content? So I created a form of content called Ulogs, which is the basis for this channel. So people who Ulog are Uloggers, and a Ulog doesn't have barriers to entry similar to a blog or a vlog, and it's natively an African-based content. It doesn't have those standards of books and too much correctness. It has an element of legitimate illiteracy. Now that I tackled because of reach. So when I first introduced Ulog, even just based on curiosity, some 5,000 people adopted it. And now my imagination is, okay, how can I enter Google, the state of the world, that before they know it, something hits them? And that was the answer. One of the answer was ulog. Imagine if the word ulog enters the dictionary and is adopted as a word. That brings about virality. Now, there is no end barrier to entry for that form of content, virality. Now, ulogs everywhere will rank in the search engines. Then I create a search engine that ranks ulogs. Then I partner with projects to incorporate a tab inside their own application for ulogs and rank those content on that search engine, which is surpassing Google. So my approach to reach is organic in nature, and I factored in removing barriers to entry, and it's going through a search engine, which is the same way as Google has used to dominate the world, capture 90% of people's brain to where they can no longer exert themselves in the face of some hassle and they'll say Google it. So I'm using similar approach, but with a different. So my point is tackling reach at the beginning. So how do you tackle reach? Knowing that, for example, even though you're African born, natively, most Africans will struggle to support an African based project. They prefer Warren Buffett. And so you need a mentality adjusting element, which you can pull off with a social media platform. So now that there is a cryptocurrency angle, you can incentivize certain actions. Now that there is NFTs with different levels of complexity, you can use those to incentivize a certain action, consciously. So let's say content that is African born or content about a coin everywhere. Then you dedicate a certain pool to reward that type of content. Then I said, don't forget a human element. So most humans today are not true African in nature. Dynas, for example, you are being true African by giving me this platform. You have given me
Thank
this
you.
platform. I'm not relevant, let's say popularity wise, but you have given me this platform. This is a rarity. Even
Because
Africans,
what you're presenting is of value that everybody needs to hear, and I'm just shocked. This was a controversial topic. We'll have more viewers, but we have 51 people watching. I want to thank the 51 people who are watching.
thank you
Go
very
ahead. Go ahead.
much. Yes, yes. So what I mean by that is there are many YouTubers, African born, that will not be truly African in nature and say, give me a platform, even though I have value, because now there is a status element. And these are ideals of the West that Africans adopt and take it to extremities. So in the face of, let's say I have value, they may say, oh, you're a small YouTuber. They use even the infrastructure of the West to so that's the nature. So now that it's established that that's the nature, there needs to be a mentality adjusting phase, which you can propagate using a social media platform or content, without people knowing it. Underlyingly, their mentality will start adjusting. There will be awareness, because if you go content, there will be revelations of the beauty of Africa. Let's say you incentivize travel, showing the beauty of Africa. So you incentivize that action, like showing Senegal, for example. Then you have another pool for showcasing African-born innovation wares like Agbada. Or let me show you something as simple as this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look at how I make use of the tags. Although it's not shown here, but I created tags in the past using this platform that went viral. Like Teardrops was viral, Untalented. I started out on Talented before I ended up in Ulogs. But there are certain tags, Nigerian, for example. Imagine I created like I have a social media platform that I plan to create. It's called Marlians. Imagine you did a simple social media platform that incentivizes like content with, let's say the hashtag is my Agbada. Dynas, I'm sure you have an Agbada.
I do.
Yes. So imagine a hashtag that incentivizes my Agbada. People just need to post content with them wearing their Agbada, or creating or sewing up an Agbada. And this content is everywhere on the search engines. It has no choice. It eats into the search engine, you know, propagating the African, elevating the Africa, and revealing the things of Africa that are considered dirt. You know, you take that to a new level, and let's say you created a sewing, a social media platform for African-based seamstress, for example, because the African landscape is virgin when it comes to innovation. Let's say you created a social media entrepreneurial social media platform for seamstress, you know, that focus on African wear, for example. But you give it a touch where typically with content like a blog, they want perfection. So they will bank on you revealing the finished product. But on the basis of a ULog type of content, let's say that we incentivized you showcasing your unfinished work. So documenting the entire stages of you building, including the hassle of building in Africa where there is no light. For example, there is no, uh, uh, there is a lot of hassle, and you evolving past that and building, and then you incentivize that type of action. Very soon, what happens is a mentality adjustment. People start to adopt the things of Africa. And there's also a contagious element, the grind of the African people everywhere. Nothing as contagious as that. This is the edge that we have, but they don't. It's not factored into most coins, that we have today. Even those that are African centric. Again, there are a handful of them. So you can't. There is no compete. I mean, we're not represented at all. So it's a good start. These projects that are attempting it, that's a good start already. My outlook of them is an evolutionary outlook. So I'm not conclusive. I believe that they can all evolve. And of course, it will take ages. But if you want to evolve, you have to be tactical, you have to be subtle, you have to be stealth. If you are too frontal, once again, you will not be able to compete. You have to have that, they call it Nigerian, but it's kind of sly in nature, but the good type of sly, so that you don't show your cards. The moment you show your cards, you lose your value proposition. So now this is what I mean. So what I mean is like me creating something that is, they will not know that underlyingly I've encoded some African ideals there. All they will do is, oh, what is a ULog? So like when it started, when I started ULog, all the adoption was from the of course, most Africans, they don't see me as relevant at the early stages, but there's going to be a mentality adjustment by, so what I mean is that they adopt ULogging again, and before they know it, their outlook of there's a mentality adjustment. Now, my point is that you can use basic human activities. So one thing that is an issue with the world today is the devaluation of basic human activities. So for example, on Facebook, everybody just scroll, like. On Hive, for example, everybody just like or dislike. Now, when you are creating content, the notion is, for example, on blockchain, because there's a reward mechanism, money comes first. So there's a clout element. People create content with the aim of garnering clout, with the aim of earning money. So that's the jurisdiction of the content. However, when I create content, even though it's a basic human activity, I am consciously an evolving version of me when I create my content. So earlier on, when I started on Hive, and that is how I gained traction, I used to document even my drafts on Hive. First off, I was an African struggling on the internet. It was the first time I saw a permanent blockchain where I can maybe even use it for a patent. That's earlier in the day. So I would put my ideas on Hive. But over time, I found new use for content that is unheard of, even maybe by the creators of content, which an African should know. And for example, I may use content as a sifter. So let's say that I want to attract only exact like minds. So while the West know of a concept of like minds, a true African should know of the concept of exact like minds. While the West know of roads with potholes on them, a true African knows of that, but also knows of potholes with roads on them. So that's the edge of an African. In every ramification, that edge is there because Africa carries reality. It's not a painted world. At the very least, there's remains of reality in Africa. So now, on that basis, while people knew of like minds, I knew of exact like minds. So sometimes my content, while everyone is bashing me on my content, oh, why did you write it like this? Why is the grammar like this? They didn't know that I've created that content as such to attract exact like minds. That was the very purpose of the content, to be rigorous in nature, so that people that manage to sift of it, to pay attention to my undertone, are the only ones that end up reaching me. And it worked. My Discord channel at the time, it got 5,000 people from my content. And most times when they arrive there, they will ask, because I'm better when I'm writing than when I'm talking. So they will be asking, oh, who am I? And stuff like that. So the point is, this is one readily available to every human content creation. But first off, there is barrier to entry. Second off, it has become a basic human activity. Meanwhile, it is not basic because it involves a human. So another thing I'll factor into my project is inculcating in people, no, modeling out every simple human activity to where it's relevant to the cause of mining the human. So I'll take content creation to a new level. For example, the editor here. There are many things you can put in the editor. So let's say I wanted to post. Let's look at the editor, for example. Now we've had this editor for ages. Let's assume that the West created this. And what does it contain for the most part? Typically, it contains a title, then a box for the body. Even down to programming, HTML, it doesn't surpass that jurisdiction. And this has been of popularity and relevance for years. Then there's an SEO element to rank on the search engines, on the notion that you need SEO to rank. There's a popularity element by virtue of Google. Now, if I'm creating surpassing Google, maybe SEO will be of irrelevance because I'll change the dynamics of how content ranks and put humans first over SEO, over popularity. So that's why. So this search box, we've had this for ages. And I'm telling you, if an African comes around and builds a social media with an editor, you will struggle to find one that has an edge over this, or it's unconventional in nature, or brings a sticky new element. There's a lot that you can do with this search box. And that's one thing that we lack in Africa when it comes to innovation as well. Maximization of space. It's an entire industry that the whole world lacks in. That's why I set up the hub, even though I'm about to lose the hub. But if you read the article, when I set up my hub, the model of it is to reveal that the power of that industry and then replicate it with other projects. It's space, being able to use this space to a more humanly effect, with the conscious intention of elevating the users of this box. So there are many things you can add here besides just a header, a box, and tags that is more empowering of humans, that carries a mentality adjusting element to where anytime a human comes here, they suddenly become spiritual in nature, in their intent to write. There are so many use cases for this box. So I may have multiple boxes with templates just modeled to incite certain behavior to adjust mentality. So let's say I had a box dedicated for building a dream, a project. Now, the world doesn't know that content world rule the world. Somebody may be using this box to create a world adjusting dream. Because irrespective of the complexity of your dream or your project, you will have to document it on a paper in some word. So, what if I had a separate box and I make this an inspirational space to direct you towards building a dream using the same basic human activity of content creation? So, let's say I put a box here and I said, okay, this template, use this editor for creating, conceptualizing a project. Then I put that, then you click on it, and it gives you a box like this, but with other parameters, that inclines you towards taking content to another level. So there are many things that you can do when it comes to building truly African projects. And if we take that route, the world will see light. They've not seen anything when it comes to innovation because the world is not that exciting. That painted world is not that exciting. Wake up in the morning, jump into a rat race, pay bills. That is the state of the painted world. But Africa, as hard as Africa is, you cannot trade the people still have power. A typical African has, now I'm not talking of Africans just in Africa, in the whole globe. Many aspects of the African is fully evolved. Their presence, their swag, their elements of humans, the warm nature is different. I'll not go there. I'll not go into that. But I know that people will get the gist of what I'm saying. Now, for some people, they may be pained, but this is just reality. Okay, so now there's no limit to when it comes, if you just decide that, okay, you want to build the same project that serves every industry, but you want to add an African element. What is the power of that? If you build a truly African project, number one, you'll have no competition because nobody can do the histories and stories, the grind and grit involved in building a truly African project. Another reason that you will not have competition is because, according to me, innate to every African, there is unique information. It may be redundant to you, but relevant to global evolution. Now, it's a conscious effort to decide to escape the influence of the world, dig of ourselves, find out that unique information and reveal it, perhaps directly by virtue of content or using our innovation to the world. So if you are to build a truly African project, you will have to undertake the dirt routes of uncovering the innermost innate African in you. And nobody can undertake that unique route. As such, you will not have any competition. Secondly, you will be first in the category. Like we mentioned, there are only a handful of truly African projects in the entire globe. So you will not have any competition. So for example, if I say, if you wanted to build an Airbnb powered by crypto for seamstress in Africa who are entrepreneurs and working on African fashion, you will not find any. If you want to build a Teespring, so like a publishing on demand platform targeted at even AI, I was looking at AI. AI cannot produce what an African can produce in terms of prompts, in terms of thought process. I was just trying to see what AI brings in terms of result, and you will see that it's obvious. The training of the AI did not factor in the African. You'll see it in the result that comes out when you type in something. The jurisdiction of thoughts is, the world, they worship the West so much, which is, they've done a lot, when it comes to, no doubt, but they do that to the detriment of the beauty that they have. What Africa has is greatness. It's not geekiness. And that is what the world in general lacks. And that is something that they will have to seek. But to seek that, they will have to be inclined towards Africa. Because, like I said, we are reaching the end of innovation. AI is already in the making. The next is they will attempt human clones. After that, they will have no choice but to start to seek greatness. And you can only find greatness in the dirt routes of Africa because it has maintained realities. They will have to be inclined there. Now, for Africans, we don't embrace that greatness. Generations past did, but over the course of generation after generation, there becomes a growing rarity in the great men industry. And according to me, we fix that rarity, we surpass Google. That's why I'm on Dyna's channel. According to me, we have 1 or 2 more generations of Africa before greatness is lost forever. Yes, that's why we need to cherish those in, I may look young, I'm not so young, I'm 36. And I know the type of, when I was in Nigeria, I know the type of Africans that were there compared to now. This generation, and it will only get worse. So we have only 1 or 2 at the most, and that will maintain that power of the African, and we need to cherish them. This is the time to build. And one reason I'm on Dyna's channel is just to channel that, that people will start building stuff. And that's why the next topic will be of relevance, why every African should venture into crypto, because building is easy, and building limitlessly. Crypto, I don't know who created it. If they tell me that it's an African, I will not doubt it, because if the West created crypto, they made an African mistake. Now, what do I mean? They created a tool that can constitute breakthrough for Africans in every ramification. Uncoincidentally, crypto replicates the African systems. Whether they did that consciously, I don't think they did that consciously. If they're from the West, they attempted to create a comfort tool, but they made a mistake and created something that, if Africans use it to evolve their Africanness, they will be dominant in the entire globe, because you can't stop the type of building that occurs on Web3 infrastructure. So let me give you a simple example. Surpassing Google. Okay, I have surpassing Google. I don't think it will show. Okay, so before I wanted to get surpassinggoogle.com. It was hard to get it on the likes of Namecheap. So I went to a crypto-based server platform, and they were able to help me to get it manually. It's not opening now. They were able to help me to get it manually. Then I also struggled with putting HTTPS even after I got this. So I was able to talk to one Web3 programmer, and he was just stubborn about making it work. He ended up getting it work. Now, even if I succeed with this, and let's say I host my search engine, that big ambition on surpassinggoogle.com, the moment I'm seen as a threat to Google.
Hey, let me ask you this, Terry. Would you go with more like a Web3 domain instead of .com, like maybe like .NFT or .eth, or is .com web 2? Can you use .com for Web3? That's my question.
It's possible, but except you want to attack the rules, which is something I will do. I can afford to do in the future, but most people will not attempt it because they're afraid of regulation and stuff like that. So they will not attempt it, but it's possible, because it's just an NFT, and it's possible to do it, but most people will not do it because of that fear of regulation, that it will attack the dominant powers. But it's possible. Now, I don't know the technicalities of this, but I'll show you why it's possible next. So, for example, I surpassing Google, let's say that I built my search engine, it's constituted a threat, it can be censored. Even if they can't, let's say they don't manage to censor it directly, they may shadow ban this URL and every associated URL from Google, and that will attack my reach because let's say I'm not showing on the search engines again.
Mm-hmm.
But let me show you something. Now, let me just quickly say, and this will be relevant to the next topic, that if you have any ambition that appears limitless, even though today there is no tool, let's say you navigate the Web3 landscape and you don't find a tool that solves it, because of the peer-to-peer open source nature of blockchain, check back in a month or two and you would have found the tool. That's the state of crypto, ever evolving, rapidly advancing. And because of the peer-to-peer nature of it and the open source nature of it, someone would have built the tool in like I'll show you Dynast, something that is coming about for NFTs that was not in existence before, and it elevates what is possible with NFTs. I just saw it recently, and someone is building it. So don't be wary about, oh, I want to build this limitless thing and I don't think it's possible. Just venture into Web3. And if it's not available at the moment, check back in 2 months and you'll be shocked you'll find it. So before now, it was not possible to get to buy a Web3 TLD. So like this. So if anyone is going to get this, please use my link. I have a link that you can use. So if anyone decides that they want to get a TLD, consider using my link. So my link is under my channel. On my channel, under every video, you'll see my link. There's also a 50% discount if you want to get a Web3 TLD. But what is a Web3 TLD? Let's say .teachers. You may not have been able to imagine getting this even in the Web3 space before now, but you can now get it. So let's say you got Meta Earn. Meta Earn, for example, teachers is expensive because it's a popular word. But let's say you want to get Meta Earn, 50% discount. This will cost, let's say, $150. So now you can get this. When you deploy to the blockchain, you'll get an NFT in return. And then you can set up a royalty that everyone that buys, let's say, Terry.Meta Earn, you'll get a royalty in return. So you can even build an entire venture into this, and you are playing the role of a domain name registrar. Now, with crypto, the power of crypto, again, is you can almost pull off a free economy. So unlike Namecheap, where you can only buy a domain name and you have to pay a yearly recurrent payment, with this one, let's say I bought Terry.Meta Earn, I'll buy both the TLD and the domain. Of course, I can sell every other domain under Meta Earn in perpetuity, but I don't need to pay a recurrent payment per year. As well as those people that buy domains under my TLD, they don't have to pay a recurrent payment. So let's say you wanted to buy Terry.Surpassing Google. Now, people say this is long, this is lengthy, but I still got it because I believe in the future where this will have relevance. Now, imagine if you wanted to buy Terry.Surpassing Google, I've bought the TLD.Surpassing Google. With a 50% discount, you'll pay $10. You'll now have a URL that you can point to your website. You can associate it with your wallet, amongst other things, and I will get a royalty in return. So that applies for everyone who buys a TLD. So let's say in the future, I can create my search engine. Let's say I create my search engine and I only allow users of the domain name .surpassing Google to access my search engine. So what will happen is when they connect to the search engine, their wallet will be checked. If they have the NFT of Terry.Surpassing Google, they'll be able to access the DApp. So now someone can build a project such as Freename and target, for example, African or Pan-African related TLDs and allow Africans to buy TLDs that are African based. You can create an entire venture into that. This company is just starting, for example, and they are already gaining traction. So now on this basis, if you can turn any of this Ladybug, Fullcam into a TLD, it tells me that you can also get .com. But if you look at .com here, assuming you wanted to get .com, you'll see that it's protected. The likelihood is that Freename, they want to, this is very popular and, it can cause issues because Web3 has not, they are not yet ripe enough to where they can do entirely without Web2. So generally, they would leave out all these protected ones, those popular ones. But let's say you wanted metaverse. I consider this more powerful than getting .eth. So metaverse is unavailable because someone has bought this. So this wasn't protected. Someone would have bought this. And maybe the person is aiming for a future where, this will become popular and people will start looking for, oh, how can I buy a domain name of the TLD metaverse? So some people buy this with a futuristic mindset. So, Africans are supposed to be in this space. And Dynas, did you know something?
Go ahead.
Last time, like a month, I can't remember how long ago I came to you on one live stream, and I showed you that I showed you something that was an opportunity that some 3-letter .f domains have expired and 3 numeral. And the price at the time was like 600. And when people sell that, they sell it for maybe 20,000 or 30,000. If one had taken action then, it would have been of so much value because now you cannot find any of them expired or even in the expiring category. On that particular live stream, I showed you this page. And in that live stream, there were many of them in the expired category that someone would have been able to get for 600. But now you cannot find
$600 or 600 ETH.
No, $600.
Oh wow.
Yes, and if you look at that category, look at the last offer. This is not a sale because the people are not even accepting these offers. But this is 21 ETH. Like someone is offering for 400.eth, 004.eth, 004.eth, and all the offers is 21 ETH. So it's an offer on ground. If someone bought this for 600 and he's going to sell it 21 ETH, let's say he accepts the offer and he's going to sell
21 ETH right now is probably like close to $35,000.
Yes, and it's likely that the person is not the owner of those domains is not even accepting it because they've likely priced it higher. Now, if you look at the top sale categories, even the 4 numeral numbers, which is not as scarce as this, is still selling for 6 ETH, 5 ETH. And if you look here, you cannot even find 4-character numbers even expired here any longer. Before, like 1 month, 2 months ago, when I came on your channel, there were many of them expired, but now you can't even find them any longer. Even if you check, let's check expiring. So expiring, you can find some 3, but people would not like to go for this one because it's capital letter. They will prefer the small letter like this. If someone monitors this, but you have to make sure that it's 3 characters. If someone monitors this and can get it when it expires, that's a good deal. Because when it expires, yes, but this is malinformed because they hid the character. So this is not a 3 alphabet. They put the at there. So that's not if you get this, it costs 360. but it may not be worth it compared to, oh, they put all this, so these are not the ones you're looking for, but if you got any, my point is, uh, uh, months ago, there were opportunities here, but very quickly, the opportunities have evaporated. But some people, those whales, they will not mind taking up this buy. It may be a whale. Imagine someone wanting to buy at 21,000. What do you think he will do with it? It's either for a project in the future, or he's going to flip it at higher the price in a few months from now. Imagine someone wanting to buy a domain currently at 21 Ethereum. So that's one thing we Africans, when we devalue money, we'll be able to take those whale moves. So that's something I did. And me, that's why I could forego that big money I had, even though I didn't have a dime, because I'm taking the route of formulating a strategy to surpass Google. I know that if I stick around, I'll formulate it so that the narrative of it doesn't shift and lose its African potency. But I believe that I'll also make billions or trillions. That money aspect will be fixed. And that brings us to something that I wanted to talk about, which is very important. And one empowering thing that crypto brings about that many innovators don't know. And if they only knew, even both the Western innovators and the African ones, many of them, they don't know. And if they only knew, they'll be able to create a cryptocurrency that succeeds, whether bulls or bears. And what is this? It's the capacity. So I said something, and this is it on this line here. I said, okay, let me just say it. So I said in an analogy, I told someone that, okay, let me quickly look here. Now, please, if anyone wants to get my NFT collection, consider getting it. It's only 100 of them. It will enable you access me continuously on any subject, Web3. It will give you access to my private community of 100 people. And I also want a team of 100 serious people, because of the undertakings of surpassing Google. So this collection is the collection. Now, I don't know how to draw or anything, so I put inscriptions. These inscriptions are powerful inscriptions from the notebooks and contain world adjusting information. So one of the inscription here, maybe there are only 95 of them left. So it's a scarce collection, and it's also tied to my projects in the future, like some incentive, but I don't want to mention those. So one of the things I was saying, let me see if I can get the exact one.
Hey, I was going to say too, Terry, we have 22 more minutes. I have to go get my son. So
okay. So
yeah.
I'll try to conclude.
But we always do a part two.
Yes. So, well, I'm not able to get the specific one, but it's among them. So what I was saying is, so here I said, for crypto to succeed, it must transcend the premised index of bulls or bears, animals. There must be an unpremised index in the crypto mix, the peer-to-peer human. A peer-to-peer human, according to me, is African. A human in a constant state of evolution that has that unregulated side of him intact, even in the face of influence, even in the face of evolution. The African identity is always there, strong. It ends up coming out somehow because of stubborn genes. But the scenario I wanted to use is money, the dynamics of money. So I said, that money that you constantly pursue in a rat race doesn't have your face on it, inscribed on it. Those whose face is inscribed on money don't have to pursue that money. So the solution to money is very simple. Simply create money that has your face inscribed on it, and you will not have to pursue that breed of money. Now, this is a secret. It's not a secret, it's a very strong paradigm if you are building a truly African project. What do I mean? If you are building a truly African project in the Web3 space, of course, you want to incorporate an NFT or a crypto as a reward mechanism. However, by creating a cryptocurrency, you are in effect creating money, your own money. So let's say you created a certain cryptocurrency called Uhuru coin. Now, on the surface, it carries the Uhuru movement and all that. But underlyingly, it's possible that that money.
Listen, we have no affiliation with the Uhuru movement. Just want to put that out there. Go ahead.
Okay. 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 So let's say Terry coin. So you'll see many projects today. They create a project, they introduce a coin. Let's say the coin is called Terry. But when you look at the mechanics of the coin, even though it carries the name of the person, it doesn't carry the face of the person. Then we end up with a cryptocurrency that's not sustainable or cannot succeed beyond the jurisdiction of bulls or bears because a human was not truly involved. Now, what do I mean? By virtue of crypto, the luxury of crypto, and that's why I say crypto uselessifies money, you can now not only own the bank, but you can also create money. However, if you just create money, what you would have created, if you just create money without your face on it, you'd have simply created generic money. Generic money is weak money. Your aim is to create strong money, and strong money is money that has your face on it. But to create money that has your face on it, you need to know who you are. What is your face? Your very definition. That tells us you will need to be in a state of evolution in the course of creating your own cryptocurrency and incorporate right inside the mechanics of the cryptocurrency your very identity, the very person of you. Then you can create a cryptocurrency that you will not have to pursue, that appeals to the soft spot of every human, that can succeed whether bulls or bears because humans are involved, and a cryptocurrency that is contagious. Now, you also have created a cryptocurrency that you would have fully backed, and by fully backing your cryptocurrency, you can now have backing from others. Now, a scenario of what I'm talking about. Okay, let me give my own cryptocurrency as an example. My cryptocurrency it aims to have my face on it. What is my face? My face is all the paradigms I've mentioned earlier has been incorporated into my cryptocurrency to where my cryptocurrency aims to reward proof of tiers. So I've created a model for the reward distribution called proof of tiers. But tears is not associated with sadness. It's associated with breakthrough in human or mining the human activity. So it's modeled to reward activities that mine the human. So one such activity is the art of ulogging. So I create a social media platform based on ulogs that people can ulog on. The second platform is the freelancing. So a platform on anyone where people can participate in a gig economy, but they can barter gigs. They can, both non-experts and experts can participate to relegate the position of money in society such that we can now provide free or cheaper than free gigs. And then the final one is macro hard, to compete with Microsoft to end up creating a programming language in an African language. So those are the three platforms that I will use to incite the particular activity to be rewarded by the coin called teardrops. So in eventuality, the coin of my project coin is called teardrops. So that's just an example. So if you are creating a coin, factor that in. And what will I say right now? What you should be doing right now is don't be reserved about, oh, the tools are not available, you don't have funding. What you should be doing right now is just this that we did today, documenting the model of your project, the paradigm, the person of you. Start documenting that. Have a paper. Now, I've not built my projects, but at the very least, all my projects have a paper. It may contain a draft, but the draft may be as much as 10,000 words. Because in the course of documenting that draft, I've, really pondered, I've dug of myself, and all that. So that is what you should be doing right now. Don't worry about the building of it. Next time, in the next topic, you will see why you can build any project, even if you don't have funding in crypto, because that's the nature of crypto. Everything you want to build, you can be assured that there is an open source project of it, for example, that you can replicate to start with. Then you can iterate that to modify to your taste. The ecosystem of crypto is a generous one because there's a cryptocurrency element that incentivizes giving. You can fundraise using a smart contract. Now, before we go, since we are concluding, let me quickly say that I would like us, if there was an opportunity, to study some cryptocurrency project models. And we will do that in the next conversation, just to give you insight into some of the unimaginable possibilities in crypto. So I'll recommend, if you are free, to do this, because people are worried about how to earn crypto without paying. Again, I earned crypto in the earlier days of crypto without paying, and everyone can do the same. So there's a particular crypto that came out recently, and this crypto project gave me ideas for a very strong African project that will empower so many people. And it gave me 2 or 3 ideas. It's just in my brain. I've evolved it in my brain, but I don't have the health to build it. I'm someone who doesn't sleep. This is 5 a.m. I'll be like this from the morning till night, and no rest, pains, and all that. So I'm looking for a team in reality. So this project will allow you to mint a free cryptocurrency free of charge. So if you start the motion of attempting to mint this and you are stuck, I have a free consultation for everyone. I'll recommend that you mint this. It's free, and just keep it. Just keep it. Anything can happen with it. Now, imagine that cryptocurrency is free to mint. It's inflationary because anybody can mint it, but it has value. And I believe that just by doing this, you keep it in your wallet. Maybe after a year, you'll be shocked, and this would have done like those giant numbers, something that was a free mint. Now, this is a free mint, but it has value. Even trading wise, people have been trading it to the tune of 5 million. It has a market valuation of 9 million, and it's a free mint. Now, what is the model of this coin that the person created? And I'll quickly tell you the model, and I'll quickly tell you what's missing. If you wanted to turn this into an African-based project, even though it's smart contract centric, using some of the paradigms I've mentioned. So I'll give away one of my ideas, and it's very simple. Okay, so now you can free mint this. Then they offered an NFT. It's called Xen NFT, allowing you to bulk mint it. So if you want to bulk mint on multiple wallets at once, before it was difficult. You have to mint one by one or create a bot to mint on multiple wallets. So it was so difficult. But now they introduced a Xen NFT. This NFT allows you to mint on multiple wallets at once, and you get an NFT in return. So, why did I say that you should free mint as soon as possible? Because they're ending up introducing a blockchain. Currently, only days ago, they announced that there was speculation that there may be a blockchain, and they're already in testing mode of a blockchain. The reason is because they didn't have to build a blockchain afresh. They only started out from an existing blockchain and are modifying that blockchain to their taste. So with the advent of a blockchain, Xen will become a medium for paying gas fees or transaction fees, and there is more utility for Xen. Moreover, on a blockchain, other projects can build on that blockchain, and there will be more utility for Xen. Before then, it was mostly inflationary. Now, that's why you should free mint it. Now, my point is, imagine creating a cryptocurrency that anybody can mint for free. So you'll notice I minted this, but I wasn't able to claim it some 50 days ago, and I lost it because you have to claim it on the day of the term ends. So I lost most of it, but I've minted on some other wallets. Now, my point is, imagine a cryptocurrency. Somebody created a cryptocurrency, no owner. So like most cryptocurrencies, the owner has a bulk of the cryptocurrency, then distributes a portion of it. But this one has no owner. Anybody can simply interact with the contract directly and attempt to mint this cryptocurrency according to how they want. So basically, you become a mintry of money. Now, the only thing missing, now, on the basis of this model, this cryptocurrency had reach because very quickly, within days, maybe like 5 million people free minted. So let's say that it tackled the subject of reach, and it's one model African projects can follow to tackle reach. Now, you may say that the project owner will not gain, but the project owner will gain by introducing an NFT, allowing people to bulk mint, but having a royalty. So a portion of royalty goes to the owner. But at the outset, there was no gain. He created a free mint, but he has tackled the subject of reach. Now, the only thing missing is an identity or a face. If you associate a face or an identity with a cryptocurrency that you can free mint, it will have more value than it currently has. So that's the idea that I have, a very powerful idea. Altogether, I'm just putting this out there as a bonus that everyone, if you say that you cannot earn cryptocurrency for free, you can. So go ahead and free mint this. If you don't know how to do this and you want this to be the subject of our consultation, you can contact me. I have a free consultation for everyone. Let me look for the link and pass it to Dynast because before it goes. So basically, it's a calendar. You just select a date, a time of your convenience, and then we'll meet. So this is the link. I'll just share it with Dinah since we are concluding already. Yes, and also if you want to get TLD, let me share the discount code and my link. If you want to get a Web3 TLD, so you can also get this directly under any of my video. Wow, just a moment, please. As for the questions, I don't know how to multitask. I wasn't able to see the questions. Please bear with me. If you have specific questions, you can also get a consultation for free and ask me those questions. So now there are many things you can do in Web3. You know, even though you have not ventured into it, if you have an existing project that is struggling with traction, struggling with funding, a forgotten project or dream, you can also resuscitate it with Web3. So those are, it's just empowering to know that you have alternatives. So you have more power. It's not a must that you venture into Web3, but at least know that you have this alternative. Let's say everything, you're pushed to the wall, nothing is working. It's just empowering to know, okay, you have this alternative. You have an open source landscape. You have many programmers that are open source inclined that will contribute to your project, even if without money, if it's a good project and it's open source. You have a platform that has DAO where you can get a grant. You have a platform where you can fundraise using a smart contract that then you also have a different type of audience, millions of them, crypto, Web3 inclined, that are looking for what you have to offer and stuff like that. You can also pull off a cheaper than free economy. You can add a cryptocurrency to incentivize participation, steer autonomous growth, or rebate, create rebate for people that use your service to incentivize them to use it. There are so many things you can do. So if you have all those dreams that we have put under the table because it's the infrastructure available to us by virtue of today's internet is limited, you can contact me as well to discuss how to resuscitate that dream. So the reason I'm in Web3 is just because of that, because I do want to surpass Google. I've thought of this for ages, but it's impossible. There are so many barriers everywhere that the only way to fully accomplish this is Web3. And another reason I'm in Web3 is knowledge. There is an incentive for people to reveal knowledge that they would have hoarded because of the cryptocurrency incentive. That's why you see that most projects are open source, because before they will keep it closed source so that they can make money out of it continuously. But because now there is cryptocurrency, they know that they can introduce a cryptocurrency, then they open source the project, reveal the information, and make money out of the cryptocurrency or an NFT with royalties. So the type of knowledge you find in Web3, the type of innovation, you cannot imagine it in Web 2. That's why in Web 3, you can find hundreds of cryptocurrency projects per day. You cannot find that in Web 2. You know, in Web 3, Facebook will have competition. In Web 2, Facebook can remain dominant for ages without anybody coming close. So it's time for limitlessness. And that's about it for this video. At Dynast, I've sent you a chat with my links for the consultation and also for free name. In case someone wants to get a domain name, I also put a coupon code there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, hold on one second. Let me I'll put it in the chat right now. And everyone, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you very much. And this is of value. Thank you, Dynast, because like I said, I'm just starting all over again. You know, finances and everything. So this is a rare opportunity for me. And, you know, so thank you very much.
No worries. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.